George Maus Lowry served as a Rear Admiral in the United States Navy. He received the Medal of Honor for actions during the United States occupation of Veracruz, 1914. Life. Lowry was born in Erie, Pennsylvania on October 27, 1889, the son of Ricardo and Philip Lowry. After appointment to the United States Naval Academy, Lowry graduated on June 2, 1911. In 1913, he commanded the US Niagara on a tour of the Great Lakes after the sunken ship was raised and reconstructed. He was married to Caroline Coleman, who died in 1979. Service during United States occupation of Veracruz. In 1914, Ensign Lowry took part in the United States occupation of Veracruz, 1914, where he led the first company of armed Navy sailors from the US Florida, tasked with capturing the city's customs house. Lowry's company became pinned down by murderous rifle and machine gun fire. Deciding not to risk his entire company in a frontal attack, Lowry instead asked for volunteers to approach the customs house from the side. 5 men volunteered: Joseph G. Harner, coxswain J. F. Shoemaker, boatswain's mate 2nd Class George Cregan, and seaman Harry C. Beasley and Lawrence C. Sonnett. Lowry led the volunteers into a narrow alley, where they came under a crossfire from riflemen in the customs building and machine gunners in a nearby hotel. During this fighting, a bullet clipped one of the buttons off Lowry's cap and another tore through his right legging, creasing the flesh. Beasley was slightly wounded, and Shoemaker was shot through the head. After his men were able to silence the machine gunners with return rifle fire, Lowry called for a corpsman to help Shoemaker. Hospital apprentice 1st Class Williams Oudeveld ran down the alley and tried to stop the flow of blood from Shoemaker's head, but was unable to do so. Shoemaker soon died. Once Oudeveld carried Shoemaker to the rear, Lowry and his surviving men worked their way up the alley and scaled the wall around the customs house. After Lowry and his men smashed through a window of the customs house, the personnel inside surrendered. Several days later, Lowry returned to the scene and counted 12 bullet impacts on the wall where his men had climbed it. Lowry, along with almost all of the men who volunteered for the attack, received the Medal of Honor for his actions. Medal of Honor citation. Rank and organization: Ensign, U.S. Navy. Place and date: Veracruz, Mexico, 21 April 22, 1914. Entered service at Pennsylvania. Birth: Erie, Pennsylvania. G.O. Number 177, December 4, 1915. Citation: for distinguished conduct in battle, engagements of Veracruz, 21–22 April 1914. Ends. Lowry was in both days fighting at the head of his company, and was eminent and conspicuous in his conduct, leading his men with skill and courage. Later career. During Lowry's later career, he commanded the US Coghlan, US O'Bannon and US McDonough. Prior to leaving the Navy in 1927, he also served in the Bureau of Navigation. In 1940, Lowry rejoined the Navy and served as Assistant Operations Officer in the 12th Naval District. After the Japanese attack on Pearl Harbor, Lowry served as Operations Officer and as Convoy and Routing Officer of the Western Sea Frontier during World War II. In 1942 he was promoted to Captain, and to Rear Admiral in 1947. Later life. After the war, Lowry wrote several articles which were printed in the United States Naval Institute magazine Proceedings, including Exploits of the U-53, the Clipperton Operations, and L-16, Mystery No Longer. Quote, after his death in 1981, he was buried at sea per his previous request. There is currently a professorship in his honor at the Navy War College in Newport, Rhode Island.